Hey everybody, Prepper Nurse 1 here. Today is Sunday, July 28th, 2019. A little more overcast today, as you can see. I mean, the sun is up here, but it's not as sunny as we have been having here the last few days, but that's okay, it happens. We're going to jump right into this topic because I think it's kind of important. And we're going to talk about the dynamics of it, looking at it from an outside perspective and where I'm coming from with this type of stuff. So when tragedy hits close to home. Now, some of you people obviously were in Little Prepper Lady's live stream last night, and there was a local tragedy that happened, and it actually directly affected her because her kids knew these kids. They hung out. They were, she said that 3 of them were at her house 2 days prior to this event happening. So let's break it down. We're going to talk about what happened first, where as a parent, my perspective looking at it is, and how something like this could be avoided. Okay, so we're going to talk about what happened first. So a young lady. So let's put it into perspective first. We have 3 16-year-olds and 2 14-year-olds. Okay. So the one young lady, 16 years old, stole her grandmother's car, okay? And she was not the one driving, but she was in the front passenger seat. Another 16-year-old girl was the driver of the car. And then you had 3 kids in the back seat, a 16-year-old and 2 14-year-olds in the back seat. And so they're out joyriding. So it is probably 3 o'clock in the morning. They're on backcountry roads because we live out in the country. And so the police are not patrolling the backcountry roads. I mean, that's just a realistic thing. They might make a loop here and there, but for the most part, at 3 in the morning, they're basically out there looking for DWIs and those type of things, as they should be. Okay, so I'm not saying anything about the police in this one. So anyway, so what happened was traveling at a high rate of speed. I do not know at this point if drugs or alcohol were involved in this or not, but let's take the ages into consideration. And, you know, they've already taken Grandma's car for the joyride, and so would not shock me, okay? But like I said, I'm not going to make that speculation without knowing the facts. So they were traveling high rate of speed, and, you know, obviously this they had a couple of them had their permits, but, you know, nobody had a driver's license. And they come up on an intersection and never stopped at the intersection. All 5 children were ejected from the vehicle. 4 of them died on scene. And the girl that had taken the car from her grandmother, stolen the car from Grandma, she's the only one that lived. She had to be airlifted to Rochester, to Strong Memorial Hospital. I guess she, from what I understood, was conscious, knew what happened, and knows that she's the only one that survived. Okay, and so first of all, this is a horrible, horrible tragedy, a horrible waste of life of young people. I mean, it's just you know, young kids think they're invincible, that they're going to live forever. I mean, I know I did at that age. You know, as you become older, your mortality type of thing, you look at things differently. And you go, man, you know, if I do the stupid stuff might kill me. But as a 16, 14-year-old, you got your whole life ahead of you. You know, you're invincible. You can do anything. And unfortunately, this is what ended up happening. So let's talk about a couple of things with this situation. So first of all, obviously my heart goes out to the families of these children, because I couldn't even imagine, I don't ever want to imagine what it's like to lose a child. Especially under these type of tragic situations like that, okay? I wouldn't even want to think about what that would be like. But let's think about this realistically, okay? So, first of all, this is a very good learning lesson. You know, it takes something tragic sometimes for it to sink in and become that learning lesson. And so, this is kind of, I'm kind of looking at it from a perspective of this, and this is what I said to my daughter yesterday. I said, okay, do you see now why I never let you spend the night at somebody else's house. I said, because if somebody decided to do something stupid, you get caught up in it, and the next thing you know, I mean, the kids, they all got in that car knowing that it was a stolen car, but they're having fun. Okay, let's be realistic. We're gonna have fun. We're getting away with something that we shouldn't be getting away with, and just having a good time. But unfortunately, in this situation, like I said, it cost 4 of them their lives. Both of the 14-year-olds died, and 2 16-year-olds died. So this is what like I said, I used it as a learning tool, and I said, this is why you never went to somebody else's house. Because when my children were with me, I knew where they were. I knew what was going on, okay? Now this is, who's to blame? Who's to blame for this? I do feel, obviously a lot of the blame goes on the kids for making that decision, but partial blame definitely goes on the parents. And this is why. This is my opinion, and I'm just going to give you my opinion only. Partial blame definitely goes on the parents. Do you not check on your kids? Do you not see to make sure they're home and they're in bed and they're where they should be? They have all kinds of apps now where you can put it on your kid's phone and do tracking apps and know where they are when they're there. I mean, even let's say, okay, so some people may have had to work nights. Let's say that was the case. But they have apps that they can know exactly where those kids are at all times. And if they're not where they should be at 3 o'clock in the morning, which should be home and in bed, you would be able to see that. And so, again, these are things that, as parents, they need to think about, okay? And I realize it's a weekend, and but that's not even an excuse. My kids, honestly, Heather just at 17, for the first time, spent the night at somebody else's house maybe a month ago. First time since in her whole life. And it was like because I talked with the stepmother, realized that they were decent people and stuff like that, and that's why I allowed her to spend the night there, okay? And they had gone to a concert and they weren't getting back until really, really late. So I let her go ahead and spend the night there. But these are things, people don't think about, I'm going to tell you what, I monitored my children. I was on top of them. I go and check them in the night. I do, just because I just want to make sure they're safe and that they're okay. So people tell me that I'm more of a helicopter parent in that aspect. Well, guess what? My children are alive. My children are not having anything bad happen to them because I'm on top of stuff. I talk with my children constantly. Now, some of these teenagers were a little bit troubled teenagers, getting into trouble and stuff like that. But again, that comes down to parenting. If you raise your kids to have respect, to appreciate things, to not do stupid things. I mean, are kids still going to do stupid stuff? Sure they are, okay? But the thing is, hopefully it's not something that's going to cost them their lives. My mom could leave her keys in the car here, and my kids never would have taken the car, because they know better. They would fear more of what I would do than what the police would do if they did something stupid like that. So partial blame definitely goes on the parents, in my opinion, okay? And I'm not trying to assess blame. It's a horrible tragedy that definitely, happened, but could it have been avoided? I absolutely think it could have been if the parents had been more on top of their kids. I mean, why are we having children if we're not going to be making sure that they're okay, that they're safe, that they're getting proper guidance, that we're trying to teach them to be decent human beings? As we know, in this day and age, and I've seen it, kids have zero respect. They're not taught any respect. They're not taught any manners. Nobody says please and thank you. Nobody says yes sir and no sir. They just don't do it. My kids do. I'll guarantee you that. My son holds the door for people too. You know what I mean? It's a respect thing. And if you teach them that, you teach them grounding basic things, you give them a foundation. When there's no foundation, kids are going to be absolutely buck wild, okay? I was buck wild, guys. I was absolutely 100% buck wild. When I was young, I did a lot of stupid stuff, okay? And nobody could tell me what to do. By the time I was 16, my mom was on her 4th marriage. The last thing I was going to do was listen to the next stepdad. Wasn't going to happen. So, it's unfortunate, okay? I survived it. I don't know how, I'll be honest with you. I should have been dead many, many times because I did a lot of stupid stuff. A lot of stupid stuff, okay? Now, coping with this tragedy, okay? How do we cope with this tragedy? Now, me personally, I don't think getting drunk is the way to cope with that tragedy. Because if you go off with your friends and you're trying to comfort your friends and then you get drunk, how are you getting home? Are you walking home or are you driving home? You know what I mean? Now you're going to exacerbate the problem because maybe now you're going to get that DWI and stuff like that. Getting drunk is not the answer. And don't get me wrong, it's a highly, highly, highly upsetting situation. Okay? But in my opinion, and I'm just giving you my opinion again, getting drunk is not the answer to that situation. And it's unfortunate. Again, like I said, we got 4 young lives snuffed out in the community, and it's going to affect the kids. There's no doubt. Their friends are going to be affected. Hopefully, good lessons can be learned from this tragedy. That these parents will realize they need to. And what do I say every day, guys? I say it every day. I say hug and kiss the ones you love because tomorrow is not guaranteed. Nobody as a parent wants to see their child die before them. I'm going to tell you what, if something happened to either Eddie or Heather, I would be absolutely devastated. Devastated. Because, those are my children. My children are supposed to outlive me. That's just the rule. It doesn't always happen that way, okay? Unfortunately. And any parent that has lost a child knows. I can't say I know because I don't know. And I don't ever want to know, guys. I don't ever want to have that feeling. I don't want to ever feel that. And it's a horrible, horrible thing. And but so obviously, little prepper lady had come on last night, and she was very upset. And what amazed me, and I think it was just one person, I believe. And I was moderating for her while she was doing her live stream. And we had one jerk off come in there and was saying, doing all kinds of stupid stuff. And I probably, there was 5 or 6 accounts that I blocked, but I think it was all the same person. Just completely unnecessary. And to do that in that type of time frame is just absolutely horrible. So, anyway, guys, I would like to hear your thoughts on this. Where does the blame lie? I mean, don't get me wrong. The kid stealing the car and doing this in the first place, 90% of the blame falls on them, in my opinion. But partial blame definitely falls on the parents for not monitoring their children, especially when we're in a time when children can be really watched and stuff like that. Like I said, they have those apps on phones. You can know where your kid's at all times. Now, I never had to do that because my kids, we had a respect. There was a respect thing there. And I told my daughter, I told her very early on, do not ever break my trust, because if you do, I will never trust you again. So, and she never would. That just wasn't her style. But anyway, like I said, horrible, horrible tragedy that happened here. Very unfortunate, but what are you going to do? I mean, it's unfortunately part of life. Like I said, again, my heart goes out to the families. It really, truly does. I want to hear your guys' thoughts on this. What do you think? Okay? I definitely want to hear what you guys have to say. So anyway, guys, a couple things I just wanted to say. I will be in the live chat tonight. Little Prepper Lady will not be joining me tonight because she's dealing with this with her kids. They have a vigil that they have to go to, for the kids that were killed and those type of things. So that's what she's going to be doing. So she will not be joining me tonight in the live chat, which we will be doing at 8 o'clock, okay? So I'm looking forward to seeing everybody there tonight at 8. And we'll go from there, okay? The second thing I wanted to mention real quickly is we are still doing the sale on the website right now, and it is going on until the 4th of August. You can save 20% on any purchase with Legacy Foods, any of our merchandise with t-shirts, coffee mugs, or bumper stickers. So take advantage of that because that's going to end on the 4th of August, okay? Let's see, the other thing I wanted to mention real quick again, we are going to be doing the Prepper Get-Together August 17th at Letchworth State Park. So definitely look forward to seeing everybody there, and that's going to be at Eddie's Pavilion. And so, you know, definitely hope to see everybody there. We will be there from 9 in the morning until 10 at night. So if you're interested, just let me know. The only thing I ask is that if you do plan on coming is to bring a dish to pass, please. Okay? So anyway, guys, I will see you all tonight on the live stream. I hope everybody is doing well. And again, very sad day. I hate to see, you know, any loss of life ever. But when you have 4 young lives snuffed out for absolutely no reason except for stupidity, that's sad. And think about the poor girl that survived. She is going to have to live with that guilt for the rest of her life, that why did she survive and all 4 of her friends were killed. So that's just, I couldn't even imagine that either. Okay? Well, anyway, guys, I will talk to you all later, and I will see you tonight in the live stream. Remember, we are all in this together. That's important to remember. Also remember, guys, hug and kiss the ones you love. Tell them every single day. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. We never know what's going to happen in life, and this is a great instance of that. Again, and also, guys, you know, remember STD. It's one step at a time, one thing at a time, and one day at a time. Whatever you're trying to do, whatever you're trying to accomplish, you can do it. The only one that's going to stop you from getting there is yourself. That's it. Nobody else can stop you. Okay? I will talk to you all later. Prepper Nurse 1, out for now.